Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd love to do today on this most beautiful Sydney winter's morning is to go through a book. And the book that I've selected for today's episode is entitled How to Adult, an illustrated guide on becoming an adult, that was published on the 13th of September 2018 by an author named Jordan Kondrath. This book, How to Adult, is a light-hearted yet practical guide that tackles essential life skills with humour and related illustrations. It covers everything from managing finances to basic cooking, social etiquette and self-care, things that most of us wish we had learned in school. So let's go through each of the key lessons and see where it leads us, what we can learn and what we can incorporate into our own lives. It's never too late, and things, of course, that we can pass on to our children, our grandchildren, and everybody else who's struggling to be an adult in this day and age. So the first key message that comes from this book is that adulting is less about age and more about a thing called responsibility. And the key idea that this author is trying to get across is that becoming an adult isn't just about hitting a certain birthday. It's about learning to take full responsibility for your actions, finances, and well-being, which includes your physical well-being, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, your relationship well-being, and of course, your spiritual well-being. You are responsible to make sure that you take priority and make priority on all of those things so that you can lead and have a balanced and productive life. In terms of application, the author here suggests that one should start taking small steps towards independence, such as managing their budget, keeping their living space organised, and making plans for their future. It's pretty simple, but it's got to start somewhere. The next message that comes from this author is that budgeting is indeed a superpower and shouldn't be seen as a burden, with the key idea being to learn how to budget properly, because it helps prevent financial stress and the chronic stress that comes with worrying about having enough money to pay for the things that you need to pay for. And it helps you build up your savings in order to afford things that matter most to you and the people that you love. A typical application that comes from this author is that one is encouraged to begin as early as possible tracking their income and expenses, and to set aside savings, and to hopefully avoid unnecessary debt. Applications like Mint or YNAB can make this much easier to implement and to make happen. Another message to come from this author is where we look at cooking and understanding that cooking at home saves money, but it not only saves money, because you're cooking at home and you know the ingredients that you're using, it can also help you save your health and lead to a better and healthier life. So what's the key idea to come from this point? The key idea is knowing how to cook basic meals is an essential adulting skill. You're not going to have your mother or your father or your grandparents around forever. At some point in time, you're going to need to take care of yourself, your family, and other people as and when required. So what the call to action here is to master a few go-to recipes like pasta, stir fry, and omelettes, so you're not always relying on takeaway and the Uber Eats. Communication skills can make or break you. It's as simple as that. It's a very, very binary sort of outcome. Either you use communication to improve your life, or you don't become an effective communicator and end up creating a mess everywhere and everyone you touch. The key idea here is that it is whether it's writing emails, negotiating a salary, or resolving the many conflicts that we're going to be involved with throughout our lives, rightly or wrongly, takes good communication. And good communication is the key to personal and professional, and may I add, relationship success as well. So what's the application? The application here is to practice clear, respectful communication, listen actively, express yourself confidently and unambiguously, and avoid at all costs unnecessary drama. These are big points. This is really, really interesting and really important. In terms of personal hygiene, the next point talks about laundry and cleaning, which are life skills. They're not chores. They're life skills that you got to get on top of and love doing. The key idea being keeping your space clean isn't just about looking neat. It improves your mental health and prevents chaos from taking over all the areas of your life. A simple application is to set a simple cleaning routine. Learn how to properly do laundry and keep your living space functional. Self-care is not an option. Adulting is stressful, and self-care, both physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, is crucial for long-term success. So the call to action is to prioritize sleep, exercise, and mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Small habits like staying hydrated, practicing mindfulness, praying, and setting boundaries can make a huge difference. And the last key message to come from this book is that no one has it all figured out, and that's okay. The key idea is that everyone is just figuring things out as they go. There's no perfect roadmap to adulthood. So the application is that we must stay patient with yourself and with others. Learn from your mistakes, don't make them a burden, and keep adapting and staying flexible, because adulting is a journey and not a destination. And the final thought from this book, How to Adult, reminds us that while growing up can feel overwhelming, it's also a fun and rewarding journey, because through humour, patience and a willingness to learn, grow and adapt, everyone can master the art of being a functional and productive adult. Thank you very much. Take care and bye for now.